having guys that were so important to the team not be there, and then the next guy up maybe getting hurt and just having no numbers whatsoever was just something that we were constantly faced with, and we had to find a way to fix it. People had to learn new positions and do what was best for the team because we were family. So we're going to do everything that we need to do for each other.
1, 2, 3, Falcons! 4, 5, 6, family!
Playing in Conference 3, it was teams that were way bigger, way stronger, a lot tougher. It was like a whole nother animal.
The underclassmen that were playing last year got a harder feel for a bigger conference, and then we came back down to Conference 4 where we were more comfortable.
Coming out 3 and 5, it was like, all right, going back to Conference 4, we can make some noise.
South has never really been seeded high, so my reaction initially to being seeded 6 was we're getting the respect that we deserve from going up to a bigger conference last year.
Going in those summer workouts, everything was clicking. We had super high expectations. It was like, oh, we're gonna accomplish so many things. We're gonna make it to playoffs, and we really put in the work. Like I saw guys coming down to the workouts in the weight room. We had one goal, and we were doing everything we could to accomplish that. The roster, not as many guys as previous years on the South football team.
Seeing the amount of small numbers we had was kind of disheartening.
It's definitely kind of worried because to like have good practices, you have to have numbers.
We didn't have a lot of linemen at all. We were asking some of our skill guys to play online, some guys stepping up.
Keeps the guys that are starters on the field for a long time. It's tough because you need to have a lot of stamina and you need to be able to play 4 quarters without really seeing the bench at all.
The talent from the guys we did have gave me confidence in our team.
We had athletes.
Skill position guys, you know, being able to get out into open space, make big plays.
We were going into 7-on-7s and we were completely annihilating big teams. Going up against those bigger teams in the 4-way was really something that I feel is important preseason always to play bigger teams that are not in your conference.
We got there and we had to start off with Manhasset, and things were a bit shaky to start because most of our team was a lot of juniors, maybe like 4 seniors. And so some of these guys playing varsity football for the first time against a pretty good team. As we progressed through the scrimmage, I think it got better, especially when we scrimmaged Metham and then Southside.
It makes you stronger. They're big guys and they're tough guys and they're talented, so that's really important because it helps us in the long run.
After the shaky start, we came together and put the pieces in place and really were able to accomplish a lot that day. Going back to conference play, I think we were going to be in the best position ever to start winning some games.
Hard work on 3, hard work on 3, 1, 2, 3,
Hard work.
I knew for a fact that if we go into the Locust Valley game and we perform and competed with them, it was going to be like a real confidence booster for the season.
It would definitely show how tough we were, especially our defensive line. Locust Valley likes to run the ball up the middle repeatedly over and over again.
Those guys are bigger than you, they're stronger than you, and they're going to beat you up. And you have to either fight back or just take it. It finally came. All the things we were doing in the off season, all the times going to the weight room, everything we were doing was pretty much all coming together. And we had finally gotten out there and been able to show what we had been working on.
We worked on coming up a lot during the week of preparation. So when I came down on that play, I made a quick stop. I was like, oh, I felt something. I thought it was my hamstring at first. And then the kid hit me and I fell over and I grabbed my knee and it was just like a sharp pain. And I hit the floor a couple times. I was like, my knee. And I couldn't get up.
And it looked good. He looked in like a lot of pain, holding his leg, and it's just hard to see like your captain on the floor there.
What's going through my head is, I'm good, I'm fine, I'll be able to go back in the game. But then I got up, my knee felt like it was collapsing in on itself. And when they got me back over to the sideline, I couldn't get up and run on it. So it was like, what's actually wrong with my knee?
I coming off the field and I came and I sat down on the bench next to him and I looked at him and he didn't look terrible. His knee was iced up and he looked at me and he was like, it's bad. And I was like, really?
They suggested I should get an MRI. When the results came back, he was like, you had a complete tear of your ACL. And it was just mind-blowing. I was so upset, really upset.
He was like a brother to all of us. He was family. He wasn't the most talkative leader, but he knew what was the right thing to do. He knew at times when he had to speak up, and he always put in 100%.
Coach Gus is always saying to us, next man up. So that was really instilled in us, who is gonna do this for the team? Who's gonna be the next guy? What's special about homecoming is that it's just the whole week is unforgettable, and you get the homecoming game, which everything revolves around. So being on the football team during homecoming week is probably one of the best things in high school.
It was pretty awesome seeing how many guys from previous years came out.
Playing in front of a lot of people like that was inspiring to me. It really boosted confidence of the team because it showed that people are there for you, people support you, and see you guys succeed.
The only thing that matters in homecoming is the game.
Island Trees coming off of a win was something that gave them a lot of momentum, and we had just come off a devastating loss, so we were hungry for it, and coaches were telling us they're hungry too, they want to ruin a homecoming, but us not having a win was something that really, really bothered the team.
Falling 0-2 was really a big blow.
It was an extremely hot day. We were really getting affected by that heat, cramps. People were just going down.
I was starting to get tired at points that I needed a break, but I couldn't because I needed to play for our team because I knew that lack of numbers we had.
If I was able to be out there, maybe the outcome would have been different, maybe not. But it was just super frustrating to watch. But I knew in my head that I still had to get these guys going. I still had to lead these guys going into week 3.
Seaford's a winning program, so if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best mentality, because on paper, No one really expects Valley Stream South to compete with Seaford, but we wanted to prove ourselves after going 0-2, and we just wanted to go into that game and fight, basically.
They had onside kicked it, and Tyler made the recovery and was moving downfield. And the play right after, they went right back to him. And I saw him make the cut to go upfield, and when he went down, I heard him scream, "My knee, my knee."
I coming off the field for one play to get my ankle taped up. All I see is the trainers running onto the field. I'm wondering what's going on. And then I see Vanette get carried off the field, another one of our best players. And I'm asking him, I'm like, "You good?" And just like Christian, he's like, "It's bad."
He was able to get his MRI real quick and get it to the doctor. He said it was a torn ACL.
Tyler could play any position on that field. He knows all about football, he's intelligent.
Big defensive playmaker, big offensive playmaker, our best linebacker arguably, and he was really stepping up in my place and doing what he had to do to try to get this team some wins.
Losing those games and then losing guys, it was just everything was kind of just piling on top of each other.
We just have to keep moving forward. We can't do anything about what just happened. That's now the past. We just had to have pride. We had to show that we still had that heart to play hard and to not give up and to not let anything bring us down and just keep fighting.
Ryan did a pretty good job holding things down, holding things together, making sure everyone was there doing their job.
He kept us together. He always tried to remind us that we still got this, even when we were 0-3, that we still have a chance.
I always give the guys a lot of strong talks about not giving up and what we're meant to do, because we didn't really practice all the off season and we didn't go through all these hell weeks and everything just to give up on game 3. So going into Oyster Bay, that whole week of practice was just thinking, we have to win a game. There was nothing that we couldn't put out on the line, because if we had lost to Oyster Bay, we had known our season was nothing.
So we're going to incorporate some power eye this week with the idea that we're going straight at them. And if nothing else,
Obviously what we were doing wasn't really working. So knowing that we were going to make some changes definitely got us excited to see what could this do to help us win games.
To make that change, we weren't winning games. You lose 2 of your better players. You got to work with what you have now. And I think it was a real good call by him.
It was a great week of practice. We were just having fun. And we went into that game with the mindset that we're going to beat this team. We are better than this team.
just how well they played and how guys really stepped up to fill that void me and Tyler left. They were excited, they were amped, they were making plays. It was awesome to watch.
When we were doing what we needed to do, when we minimalized mistakes, when we had a good week of practice, we could do anything. We put up a bunch of points on the board.
After that win, it made the guys realize that, oh, we don't really need Tyler and Christian. We could do this. And that's the mindset I wanted them to have. That going forward, they could compete with any team in our conference and be able to win games, especially against some of the teams that were coming up.
When we lost against Cold Spring Harbor, then Malvern, and then Clark, it was just crushing blow after crushing blow, because the Malvern game, it hurt us because we really came out in that second half and we started really making our presence felt, but it just wasn't enough. But when it came to games like Cold Spring and Clark, those are just tough teams that came out on top because they outplayed us, and there wasn't really anything we could do about that. But the lesson to be learned was that we just had to go back to practice and get better.
It was amazing to see that those guys were still willing to put in the work and willing to push out through these last couple of weeks of what seemed to be a lost season.
We kept fighting, we kept working hard, we just didn't back down. We wanted to keep playing.
I have a lot of respect for the guys on this team because there were some times where it was really tough and I would question if the same people were going to keep on showing up to practice. You know, who's going to quit on me, who was going to quit on us, quit on our family. We stick together, and as long as we had the minimum amount of numbers, we were going to go out there and we were going to play.
Nothing's better than going to playoffs, and we all knew that.
Haven't made a playoff appearance in like 7 years maybe. To the school, it would be one of the biggest accomplishments in a while. And for the team, it would be a sign of life that we weren't no pushovers and we were able to accomplish something a lot of teams couldn't.
All I could think about is winning that game and knowing that we have a game next week and it's a playoff game.
When you know that you have a real chance of playing another week of football, you're going to miss all the sprints you did. You're going to miss all the conditioning once it's over. So if you really want another week to have in your memories, you got to fight for it.
We had the tools, we had the weapons, we had everything we needed to go in that game and win.
When they scored that last touchdown after the interception, that's when I had known it was really crushing, because seeing friends celebrate on the other sideline and then just having me and my guys on the field crouched over and hanging our heads because we knew it was over, it was just tough.
When I was standing there and the game was over, Ryan, Amir, Mark, they came over to me in tears. It was their last game. I kind of had to stay strong for those guys because it was a leadership thing, and not being able to play, I didn't want to be too emotional around them.
It was hard to realize that it was over because we expected so much for this season, and knowing that it came down to this, it was hurt, I guess.
When I had to take off my jersey and hand it in, there was always that part of me that was trying to steal it and get away, but at the same time I was just like, this belongs here. This is gonna live on forever. It's gonna be something that someone else wears next year and the number's gonna live on. So being able to say that I played in this jersey and that for years to come, other people get to put on the South jersey, it gives you a lot of pride. I'm gonna miss the atmosphere. Just going out to practice, being with guys I love, coaches, just everything. Having fun, doing what I love to do, and playing the sport I love to play.
Been here since 7th grade. I've been around these guys for like basically my whole life, and having to step away from that is gonna be real tough.
Being a Valley Stream South Falcon, it means a lot more than just a name. It means a sense of family, sense of pride, and just this brotherhood that we've built here at this school through this football program.